Welcome to Design for the Creative Mind. I'm your host, Michelle Lynne, interior designer, entrepreneur, and someone who's been building businesses in this industry for almost 2 decades. I run an award-winning interior design firm. I've coached over 1,000 designers. I've built and scaled multiple businesses around this industry because I genuinely believe that designers deserve to be paid well and run firms that actually work. And I've done it with a big team, a small team, and everything in between. So I'm not speaking from just a single season of experience. I'm speaking from all of them. This podcast exists because talented designers are leaving money on the table, burning themselves out, and wondering why the business isn't matching the quality of work. So every episode, we get into the real stuff: pricing, procurement, operations, sales, the mindset it takes to lead a design firm with intention. No fluff, no motivational speeches, just honest conversation from someone who's still in it. So if you're ready to run your design business like a business, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hey. If y'all have been around my world for any amount of time, you know that I don't do a lot of fluff. And we are doing a combined podcast today with Katie Decker-Erickson. And y'all, she's the same. So when we decided to do something together, go ahead.
Well, everyone's jumping on my channel. They're like, this isn't Katie's voice. Where is Katie today? Katie's here. I'm with Michelle. So if you're listening as Success by Design or Design for the Creative Mind, you're at the right place. Don't click out.
Right
you
place.
Don't have a mistake. Yeah.
Thank you. That is good clarification. Good clarification. So we just knew that if we were going to be combining our podcasts, and actually we are going to be doing this on a monthly basis, and we're doing it under a title of The Art of Being the Principal. So that's kind of where we're at. And we're kind of building this in public. So we don't actually have everything scripted out. We have some basic talking points and so forth. But we're here to serve you as the principal of your interior design firm. So, Katie, what does that mean to you? What are you thinking? Where are we going to go with this?
I love designers. And if you've been listening to my show for any period of time, you know it's all about running the business and having the hard conversations. And I want to create a safe environment where we can have these conversations about being a CEO, being the principal, truly leading from the front unapologetically, but kindly and
without
fairly.
the fluff.
And
Yes.
without the fluff. Yeah, let's have the hard conversations that nobody else is happening. There's lots of conversations going on in the world of design about what we're creating, what each of our firms looks like, what we're seeing in the marketplace. But I feel like I'm tired of the AI conversation. It's here. If you haven't figured it out, go figure it out. It's not going away. But like what hasn't changed is the foundation of running a really good, a really smart business that makes you the money that you want to make. And I feel like there's blips. I don't know if you see this, Michelle, but it's like, we're going to focus on profit, or we're going to focus on marketing, or what did you do with X? And we want to have a holistic conversation, I think, of what does it really mean to be a CEO and to step into that space, as I said, unapologetically, authoritatively, and tackle the mindset and all of the variables that go into running an enterprise that you want to run that fits. Like I always say on my podcast, a business that works for you, not you working for it. What would you add to that?
Let's talk about that, because the art of being the principal, like say in your firm, the principal is the person who runs the firm, not the one who's doing all of, like, for in architecture, the principal's not the one doing all the drafting. Okay. It's not the one in every meeting managing every detail, but Katie, you were just quoting that there's that, like most interior design businesses are 4 people or less, right? You were just talking about that on a previous meeting.
This is a good statistic. I'm going to give this to you. Yeah. 60% plus of the $31 billion in revenue that gets done annually in our business flows through small firms of 4 or less people.
So what does that mean? If you're the principal, because it is 4 or less, designers are doing a lot of designing, even if they are a principal. So that's hard, y'all. That is a difficult role to be in, because you're the one who's leading the thing, but you're also doing a lot of the things and not always leading. It's a hard juggle. So that's what we're here to talk about.
I often say it's like a rabid squirrel straddling a barbed wire fence. And you have to figure out which side of it you're going to be on. And this is something I haven't said in a while, but I think it's so important. If you're like, I just want to design and clock in and clock out, that is okay. Give yourself the permission. I think sometimes we idolize running our own firm, being our own thing. There's nothing wrong with going to work for a firm so you get to create all day and clock in and clock out. You can be just as unapologetic about that as being a CEO. And you have our full permission, not that you need it, but I think it's really important to say that.
Absolutely. Because I can tell you myself, speaking of squirrels, I'm like a squirrel on cocaine. It's like, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that, and then I got to go do this, and then I got to go do that. And it's just like, at the end of the day, I'm exhausted sometimes.
100%. In
More
fact, I
often
was
than
just
not.
For sure. I was talking to a coaching client this week and she's like, okay, Katie, where are we going next with coaching? Because I feel like we figured this out. What are we doing next? I'm like, we're going to figure out how to CEO and CEO hard. We're going to put you on a schedule for CEOing. It's like going to the gym. It's like brushing your teeth. Do you want to do it every day? Not necessarily, but does it give you what you want? And do you enjoy the byproducts of it and most of it? Yes. Okay, then you're in the right seat. You just have to sometimes put on the big girl panties and deal with it, right? And so that means one day a week you're going to focus on marketing. It doesn't mean you're spending all day doing marketing. It means you're taking an hour out of the day and you're saying, I'm stepping away from the design and drafting table and I'm stepping into being the marketer. Is our brand on point? Is our message clear? Is our story up to par? Like all of these things. Another day you're going to do your finances. Like we're just chiseling through that because you put it on a cycle like everything else and it performs.
And that's so interesting that you say that because that's exactly what I teach. Monday's marketing, Friday's financial.
You have to do
Wednesday.
Friday financial? Well, you're nice.
Like,
I give people cocktails on Friday. I'm like, you have 4 days a week to CEO and you get a cocktail on Friday.
I do
That's
financials
hilarious.
on Friday. Yes.
Do
no,
you?
it's just like because I go into the weekend and I can rest easily knowing everything's taken care of. Plus,
so funny 'cause-
Financial Friday.
yeah.
It's alliteration. I like alliteration.
I love you. I do it on Monday because I feel like it's like get it over with. And then I know where everything sits. So I feel empowered to make decisions all week, knowing exactly where my companies are at.
Rock on. So if you're listening, just pick a day. Pick a day
Pick
that
a
works for
day.
you.
The
And
point
that's
is
the
pick a
beauty.
day.
Yes, that's the beauty of having
Yeah.
your business, right?
It is. You
It's
get to run
go
it.
in that
The
respect.
key is you're running it. That's the difference. This is where we talk about CEOing is a verb. Add the ing. There's lots of business owners out there. Yeah, great. Knock them dead. But if you actually want to get back to that art of being the principal, you have to be CEOing.
Well, that, and there's a bunch of business owners, but most of us, small businesses, are business operators. We want to step out of the operations and into the ownership. Because like for
Love
ML
that.
Interiors Group, my company, our operations, the business runs itself. I've told this story a million times. Like when I went to go adopt my now daughter, Genevieve, 8 years ago, gosh, it was almost exactly 8 years ago when we were driving up there. And my firm, I called my team. I was like, Debbie, Megan, what's going on? Is everything okay? They're like, yeah, we're just following our processes. I was like, sweet. I thought the building had burnt down, but truly they were just navigating everything. So if you have the operations in place as the owner, you're not having to go through and answer the same question for every project over and over and over again. They're standard operating procedures.
And they should be. It's not fun to reinvent a procedure every time. What's fun is to create new designs every time. And I think what we miss in the design world is understanding that when those processes are in place, it gives you back the creativity you so long for and crave.
Absolutely.
Because you're not sitting there trying to tell someone for the 85th time why the 5th window treatment didn't go well and trying to still fix it. That should have been fixed back on time number 1 so you could get back to doing what you love.
Well, and technically you should have a process for those window treatments. And everybody on your team, including yourself, should know who you call when it's time to create window treatments and have them do the measurements so you're not the one out there doing it. But Katie, we could talk about this all day. You know what I wanted?
True story.
So yes, I know, right? With cocktails. One thing that I do want to bring up to our audience.
Yeah.
We are recording this at the end of May. It should be coming out the first week of June. We will have a couple more episodes, but Katie and I are planning an event on August 24th here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're still putting it together. So one of the reasons why we wanted to get this podcast done so quickly, because we literally just threw it together, is so that we can ask y'all, what Like, where are you in your world right now? We're looking at three pillars: marketing, operations, and finance, right? Those are kind of the three big things in any business. You have to market in order to get business. Once you get the business, you have to be able to operate and execute. And then, of course, we're all here to make money, right? So
Unapologetically and understanding your finances so you can again complete that loop and go back to investing in marketing so you get more business so you make more money. It's really a cycle. And
mhm,
yeah, I'm really excited. I love that we're doing this. It's a 1-day seminar with cocktails so that we get to have the conversation around these three pillars that really what I love is calling it the art of the principle because there's a science to this. Like we know these are the three pillars, but there's also an art form. Like you do finances on Friday, I do finances on Monday. There is still an art and a science to this. We want to give you the foundations so then you can get busy designing the business that you really want rather than feeling like your business is dragging you around by the tail half the time.
absolutely. Or the tail wagging the dog. So we want to know, do you want to dive into the three pillars and pull those apart? Is that the format that works? Or is it also going to be along the lines of how do you pull yourself out of all of that framework so that you're not the one who's having to do all of it? So there's different takes on how Katie and I can present these things, how we can address it, or is it something completely different? So
Yeah,
we're
we want
inviting
to
you
hear
to give
from
us
you
feedback. Yeah. So you can
100%.
either leave a comment and a review wherever you listen to podcasts, just by the way,
We
or
really
find us
appreciate that.
absolutely, or find us on social media and just drop
100%
us a
come find
line.
us.
Anyway, yeah,
DM
smoke
us,
signals don't
whatever.
work. So yeah,
Yeah,
smoke
don't send
signals do
carrier
not work.
pigeons.
My
Okay.
psychic ability doesn't work.
It's sure broken after my hormones. It went out the door with my hormones. Let's just talk about that for a minute.
So
Okay,
you
so
were able to
Michelle,
read minds.
yeah, well, I was. Yeah, or so I thought. Let's be really honest, the beauty of youth.
Yes.
Who is this for, Michelle? Who do we want to hear from? Like, what if someone's sitting out there and they're like, "Oh, I don't know. Is this for me? Is this not for me? Do I make enough money for this to be for me?" I think that's something we struggle with
Yeah.
as designers is that insecurity or imposter syndrome. What would you say to that?
Say, if you are bringing in six figures in your interior design firm, this is for you. Whether it's 101,000, whether it's 999,000. There's something for everybody in between. My market used to be the baby designers who were in the five figures, but I really think that this is going to be a little bit more
Yeah.
involved than that. Can you get some stuff from it? Absolutely. 100%. But I really think the sweet spot will be for the designers anywhere between 101,999 and probably 750 is actually probably where
Yeah, I
the
would say
top.
anybody. Yeah, 100%. Because we've got the baseline, we have some things going on. We figured out how to get to six figures. Now the question becomes, how do you really get to seven? And I think that is,
Without burning yourself out, like, oh, 'cause that's
yeah,
hard.
I know. How many sweet coaching clients haven't we had, Michelle, that like hop on the call and there's tears and they're just fried. They're 100% fried. And I'm like, I get it. I get that you're fried. I see you. We got to fix the fry because you need to get to a lifestyle that really does allow you to succeed, but also allows your team to succeed. I think it's so easy for designers to give up the thing that made them great first, which is their designing. That should be the last thing you give up in your firm. That is your brand. That is your look. That is your, go hire the bookkeeper first. I talk about this all the time. But
And that's what I was going to say is that when you have a team, it does not have to be employees. So Katie
yeah,
just said it lets your team shine as well. You know what? This could be an overseas designer. It could be your outsourced bookkeeper. It could be your social media manager. Like there's a lot of people that support your business when you get strategic about addressing it, not doing it all yourself. And I'll be the first to say, y'all, there are so many things that I love to but I need to outsource them so that I can do what makes me money. Like I'm not going to go be like I think another career that I could have be like website design, social media management. Like I love doing those things, but that's not where I make the money. That's not where I'm best at in this industry.
that's so wisely said. I mean, to your point, which is such a wise one, the world is your oyster right now. I mean, however you feel about COVID, and I roll my eyes because I was in a state that really went off the deep end about it. But wherever you're at, it taught us that our world is very small. So to go find someone in the Philippines, to go find someone in X, Y, or Z, extremely doable. I mean, we have a multi-million-dollar firm. I don't have one employee. Everyone's a contractor. But you know why it works? Because we have systems and processes and they know where they plug in and they know what their lane is. They know what their due dates are. They know what the expectation is and they know where to find me if they get stuck. Okay. Then all of a sudden we've created a repeatable process. Like I love this idea. If you're doing something twice, stop and ask yourself, why am I still doing this? Because it probably needs a system, a process, or a procedure. If you're doing something twice, then why are we back at this again? There's usually a reason why. And like when you start thinking about that, and I think too, just realizing time, especially as we get out of this business operator mode, which I think is such a great distinction you made, Michelle. When we leave business operations and we go into CEOing and principling and doing these things, it's starting to say, how do I buy back my time? Because your time is your most valuable asset. I can give you more people. I can give you more money. I can give you more ideas. I can give you more marketing. I cannot give you more time. So really guarded is the holy grail. And to your point, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you can do the social media and you can do all this stuff, it doesn't mean you should be doing it, right? Because where's your ROI? Where's the return on your investment? And that investment is your time. And it's the most valuable thing you got. My time has to work freaking hard for me or it's a no-go.
And I also think that it takes away sometimes it's not just the physical presence, but it's the mental presence.
Yes.
So if you're always thinking about what's going wrong at work, or, oh, I had to do this twice, or, oh, you're just repeating conversations that you had because you had to make something up as you go, that is also time. That is time mentally taken away from your family, taken away from your dog, like whoever you love to spend time with, right? Or it's time that you can be.
I don't have time for a dog, which is why I'm laughing. I'm like, I'm just trying to raise children out here. A dog? No, I have 3 snails. I think we're up to 5 snails in the snail jar on my counter. Oh my gosh, it's real. My kids love the snails. Michelle, I don't even know how we got snails, but I have snails. That my capacity is for snails, not even dogs.
There you go.
Gosh, it's a thing.
But it's time. It's time.
You pick.
So the art of being the principal, I think, is something that oftentimes we get into business thinking that we're going to be a designer. But in truth, you are a business owner that runs a design firm. You're a businesswoman who owns an interior design firm. So we have to switch that thought process. And I'll tell you that, like, even myself, like there's times where I catch myself, and it might be weeks at a time, where I'm truly just in the weeds. I am not leading anything. And I catch myself and I'm like, holy crap, I have been the operator, not the owner.
It's so easy to do because here's this critical moment. What made you and got you to this point isn't going to get you to the next one. It's not going to get you to the next one. So being the operator got you to 6 figures. And that's amazing because you learn the ins and outs of your business because you had to do it all.
And then
that's not going to get you.
People doing it. You can manage people doing it now because you know how it needs to be done, what works, what doesn't work.
100%. And making that transition is what gets you to the 7 figures, but you have to be willing to let go. And I think that is exceptionally hard. Now, it's not letting go of what made you great, which is don't go hire an assistant designer the first time you get stressed out. It's the worst decision you can make. Go hire the bookkeeper. Go hire the marketing person. Go hire all the peripheral tasks before you take away, 1, what you love, but 2, what your clients are expecting to see. Like I just did this with the designer last week. They're like, okay, but how do I still stay involved in design? I've hired everybody else in my ecosystem. I really actually do need an assistant designer. I said, yeah, you do. But here's the thing. You're creating the mood board. You're doing the client meetings. The assistant designer's coming along to hear the feedback. And then you're turning them loose to go populate the sourcing and start rendering it out and doing it. There's touch points along the way where it's still got your thumbprint on it and it feels completely cohesive to the client. But the legwork, to your point, Michelle, is being done by the assistant designer.
Absolutely. Go get me a purple velvet Chesterfield. That's what I want. Okay, let them go find it. Let them bring you the 300 shades of purple. Narrow it down to 3 and let me choose the third, which one we're going to use. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I
Get
also
out of the
think
weeds.
but it's also about being confident enough to hire people smarter than you. If your design firm is running on spreadsheets, inbox flags, sticky notes, and pure adrenaline, listen up. The Profit Mixer was built specifically for interior designers and includes the same operational workflows that I've taught for years inside the Interior Design Business Bakery. Now, those features are built directly into the platform itself. Proposals, purchase orders, invoicing without double entry, procurement workflows, vendor communication, team collaboration, and project organization all working together in one place. This isn't just software where you're left to figure it out on your own. With built-in workflows, AI support from Gigi, optional human help, and access to procurement support from a real team that understands the design industry, the Profit Mixer helps simplify the back end of your business so that you can focus on designing, not the operational chaos. Learn more at thedesignbakehouse.com. Right?
You shouldn't be hiring anyone dumber than you or you're wasting your money. You're hiring specialists to come in, right? And I love that,
If you're the smartest
Michelle.
one in the room, you're in the wrong room.
100%. 150%. The reason you're paying them is because hopefully they're better at it than you are. Can you do it? Yes. Back to social media. Can you do it? Yes. I want somebody who does it better, smarter, faster, who's keeping tabs on algorithms changing and mini chats and all these words that, like, as I approach 50, I just roll my eyes about and don't care, even though I know they're important. I want to go find somebody where that is their heartbeat and their passion and they do care and be like, go get them, tiger.
Go get them, tiger. That might
don't
be
you
the
kind of feel
title of
that
our,
way?
that might be the title of this podcast. The Art of the Principal. Go get them, tiger.
Go get them, tiger. Like, hire the people brighter, smarter, and let them do what they should be doing. And there's also something that happens magically. At first, it feels scary. It's probably like learning to like do anything new, right? First, it's scary. Then there's this moment of it might be working. And then it's great. Look at it go. And like approaching this point in the career, like, I don't know, after almost 20 years of doing this, I'm like, great, look at them go. I mean, they're doing stuff better than I do it. That means I've made the right hire for whatever that position is. They're coming up with new ideas of how to refine your processes. You made the right hire. They're finding things that you're like, dang, that looks good. You made the right hire. Like, that's what you're looking for. And if you feel like all you're doing is correcting mistakes, you need to revisit who's in what seat on the bus in your firm. If you're constantly dealing with mistakes, you don't have the right people on the right bus in your firm. They should be as interested in your success as you are, and they should be so good at what they do. They're blowing your mind, not you constantly having to rectify what they're creating and fixing and you taking over. If you find you're constantly taking it over, you get a mood board and you're like, oh gosh, you've got to be kidding me. And you spend 2 hours on a Sunday fixing it. There's a problem. There's a disconnect. Either it's a coachable moment or it's the wrong fit. And being the CEO, being the principal, the art is having the courage to call it. I mean, the art is sitting in the seat of your intuition and going, this isn't a good fit. This isn't the right person in this slot. It's not to say there's not another spot on the bus for them. But I also like contractors for that reason, because usually they're coming at it as they know what they're good at. They know what they want to hone in on. And you're providing them a platform to do that. And if it doesn't work, you can walk away.
And nobody's worse for wear. Nobody is worse for wear. But
yeah,
again,
you fire
like
an employee, they got nothing, right? Like you fire
and you
a
might even have to pay them
contractor.
unemployment.
Yeah, you fire a contractor, or you just say this isn't a good fit, or we need to go in a different direction. You know, at least they have one other client. You're not leaving them high and dry either. Not that I enjoy firing, but I think like as women, we take these things really to heart, and you don't want to feel like you're leaving someone high and dry. You leave them on the bus too long. The firm starts to suffer. Your margins aren't where they need to be. You're repeating work. You're getting frustrated. Like all of those things start coming into play. That's not the art of being the principal. The art of being the principal is having the hard conversations in love too.
Well, that and the art of being the principal is your business is your first priority. And it's hard. Your people are not your first priority because without a business, you don't have people. So
And I
you
was just
have
that
to take a
too.
look. Mm-hmm.
And without people, you don't have a business. This is like the classic case model of like, what matters more? It's one of my favorite questions I used to ask my grad students in business school is like, is your internal stakeholder or your external stakeholder more important? It's a false dichotomy. They're both equally as important. Like you take care of the people that made you and they take care of the people that
Absolutely.
write your paycheck, but it has to be a fair and transparent relationship.
That's a valid point. And I'm not saying not to take care of your people, but, and to your point, without your people, you don't have your business. But I also believe, and this is going to sound kind of callous,
No,
anybody
go
can
for
be,
it.
this is what my dad used to tell me. So this is going to give you some insight.
I'm glad I'm holding my coffee cup.
Exactly. Anybody can be replaced by a white button. And what he meant by that is that there's nothing that an employee brings to a business that cannot be replaceable. None of my employees, and I've had many, I love them all, they're all replaceable. I can hire another designer. I can hire another bookkeeper. I can hire another social media person. But at the end of the day, your business relies on them, yes, but you have to take care of yourself and your business in order to employ the best people. How are you going to pay the best people if you're not making any money?
So true. I'm thinking as you're saying that, I'm like, I have one unicorn that if she went away, I would die. When you find those people, don't let go of them, by the way.
Amen
That's
to
a
that.
bad life
Yes.
decision. I mean, don't let go of them. And that's probably something where I'm like, we probably need to diversify some of that, but I just adore her and she's amazing. But yeah, it's a really, really good point, Michelle, that like, and two, there are these people that show up, and I think it's the job of them, of these contractors, employees, whatever you have on your team, to show the value they add to. Do they genuinely care? There's one thing I talk about a lot in coaching. I can't coach care. And with our contractors, like I can't teach them to care about our projects, to care about our client, to do the 5% more. We talk about the 5% more a lot. There's the people that show up and do 5% more. That 5% is a tipping point between us and our competitors. It's asking that one other question, or it's taking the initiative to solve one more problem and be one step ahead. That is so incredibly invaluable. Like if you're listening to this and you're on the other side of it as someone working for a firm or someone who's thinking about hanging out their own shingle and doing that, and I realize that's not really our target market today, but if you're listening to this, like think about what is the 5% more in the value add you're bringing to your organization that's your market differentiator for your own brand, because that's going to help drive when you do hang out your own shingle, what you end up creating and what you end up doing, which is really important.
Because like you said, like going all the way back to the beginning of this episode, there's no shame in not doing that. But Katie has this unicorn. I love my unicorns as well. In regards to the fact, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that if you are working for somebody and you take the 5% and you continue adding that, then you become more valuable to that team. And then you're going to get more responsibility and things that you want to do because you can leverage your value to really go in the direction that you want to go in. So just an easy example is if you want to do all new construction, like let's say that's what you love doing. Well, if that's what you're best at and you are so valuable to the team, you have a little bit more leverage to come to the owner and basically say, this is the direction I want to take the company. Like, let me lead this, let me do this. And then you get to have some ownership without the risk, right?
Which is so great. And that's a great spot to be too. I mean, yeah, being a business owner, it does come with a lot of risk. Being a CEO comes with risk. It's making gutsy decisions. I mean, Michelle and I were on a call this morning and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. And Michelle's like, I'm okay with that. Like, I think that's actually a good thing to do. And I'm like, tell me more. Like, find those people that challenge and push you in different ways, but also risk is just part of it.
So let's bring that back to the art of being the principal. Like you were so open on that conversation to say, push back. Like, I don't understand it. So I feel this way. And this is how I feel, completely legit. But as the principal, if you're in that seat, you don't want to surround yourself with people that are just going to agree with you. Right? Isn't that what ChatGPT does? ChatGPT is always, oh, you're absolutely right. That's a great perspective. Like, shut the hell up.
I'm like dying laughing. If my chat came back and was like, hell no, Katie, you're an idiot. I mean, like, I'd be like, wait, what? What just happened? I mean, what? But you need those people in your life. If you're surrounded by yes people, they will yes you straight into the hell of losing your business. Like, you cannot do that. You have to have people push back and challenge you. And if you're not getting it, that should be a red flag right there in my business. Like, no one's pushing back. Why is that? Have I created a culture that doesn't allow for it? Do I have people who don't know how to ask better questions because I haven't hired people better, smarter, more capable than me? What's going on in my firm? And just sit in that for a minute. You got to be okay with the discomfort. In CEOing, this is the art of principling, is sitting in the discomfort to figure out, why is there discomfort? Because you cannot solve what you do not know. And until you can identify it, you can't move through it.
I love that. And it's so funny that you're saying that because
Are you thinking for a moment?
Yes, I was thinking about an incident last night.
Yeah.
Like, my husband and I have been playing board games with Genevieve, right? And well, so do we. But at the like towards the middle to the end, it becomes a thing where my husband and I get so frustrated with her because she's just not following the rules. And so we were like, okay, this is us. This is us. Like, we are the leaders. Why is this becoming a thing with our 8-year-old? So you have to look into yourself and say, okay, is it really that important? Like, is it really that important that my kid skipped over on chutes and ladder and went up the ladder and was cheating, essentially?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it have to become a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't have to become a thing at that very moment. You can still have a learning moment. But my point is not to figure out what the hell's going on with my husband and I and the kid when we're playing board games. But my point is that when it comes to a business, it's very similar to motherhood in relation to how you lead your team, but how you have to look internally to see if you are the root of the problem.
Yeah. It's my least favorite part of motherhood. It is. Well, and to your point, yes. So I have a kiddo who hates to lose board games. Chutes and Ladders is on the list. Clues on the list. Life is on the list. Junior Detective.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, PTSD response over here. It doesn't matter what it is. She hates to lose board games. In that moment, I want to be like, you're an Erickson. That is not how Ericksons play board games. We do not do that. You will show up with character and you will be a humble and good loser, right? And in the moment, she's like, I'm going to lose. And this is horrible, mommy. And I don't want to play anymore. And all of a sudden, like, game pieces start flying and like we have a total meltdown. And so like taking the deep breath to say, okay, I just have to sit in this moment, which is such a good point you made, Michelle. I can come back to this at a different time and solve this problem in a more meaningful and productive way. I love what's on your board back there, by the way, that I'm secretly reading as you're talking. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And that is so true, especially in a culture where we value disposable silverware, disposable Pampers, disposable plates, disposable floss, disposable, I don't know, I'd want to recycle my floss, but you know what I mean? Like everything is disposable. And sometimes I think if we just slow it down enough to sit in the discomfort or realize it's maybe not in this moment, but I see it. And timing as a CEO is really important. Like, I think there's run down that path with me, because I think a lot of times we don't talk about the intangibles as much. And back to timing, not just time.
Well, we're in this hustle culture. And I think hustle's a bullshit story that we've been sold, right? I don't think we have to hustle. In my opinion, work smart. Like, I've hustled and I've gotten a lot of stuff done, but could I have done it better, differently? Absolutely. But I thought, oh, I'm hustling. I'm a boss babe. I'm all of this sort of BS. And I'm not. Do you think men call themselves boss dudes? No.
Boss
right?
boy. Boss boy.
Boss boy. Thank you. That's much better. Boss dude, boss
There's your
boy.
alliteration.
No.
Yeah.
Here's the thing is like slowing down and being intentional. And that includes not having to address a problem immediately. So going back to playing chutes and ladders with my kid last night, I'm going to talk to her about it Saturday morning and refer back to it. There's nothing wrong, Genevieve, but look, like, to your point, this is not how we show up. This is not our character. And that's fine. You're playing with mom and dad. It's safe, all of that sort of stuff. But it's the same thing with my team. You know, if this gets messed up, and just recently we accidentally ordered something, it got procured because it was not taken off of the proposal by the designer because she knew it in the back of her head, but she didn't take it off of the PO. It went from the proposal to the invoice to the PO. And okay, now I own this beautiful but very expensive trim for some curtains that don't actually match my house, right? So yeah, but at the same time, do I need to address it with her right there when she's feeling really shitty? No, but I'm going to go back and I'm going to address it with her and say, okay, so what do we need to do next time? And actually, she already figured it out. She said, oops, this is where I dropped the ball. But I also don't need to pound it into her. Like, yeah,
when
you
someone
suck.
shows up like that and says, yeah, when there's a moment of, whenever someone's remorseful, I'm like, my work here is done. Let's just find a better process. Like, my goal is not to guilt and shame you. When you have self-awareness enough to go, stick your hand up. First of all, create a culture as a CEO and a principal where people can make mistakes and stick their hand up and be like, I screwed this up. It's gotta be, because otherwise you're going to find money missing. You're going to find mistakes made. Eventually, 6 months later, like, you can't
You're going to go
doing
visit
that.
their house and find that slab of granite that you paid for, or slab of marble that you paid for that you didn't know.
150%.
so much like that project. Oh, yeah, well, I kind of,
Double ordered that bad boy.
oops.
Yeah. You've got to create that. But I think what's neat, like coming full circle and thinking about like what we're going to do in Dallas and like putting this together for August is, I mean, we jokingly said and cocktails, but it's real. And here's the reason why. And stick with me on this. But at the end of the day, too, there also has to be this idea of you nurturing the one who's keeping it all going. And you have to take care of yourself. You have to your point of being the boss babe and white knuckling it. And like, it's not cool and it's not sustainable. And you will show up with Michelle and I crying at some point for a coaching call, and we will hug you and love you anyway. But you have
because
to,
it's not necessary.
It's not necessary. I'll never forget during COVID, I was climbing the walls, literally. And I told my husband, I have just got to get something else going on. So we got into boating. We live 3.5 hours off the Salish Sea. And I was like, great, we can be alone together. This is perfect. Let's go boating. So I went and got my ability to pilot boats and got my certificate. But I'll never forget what my instructor said. And I love this. She was in her 60s. And we were learning on boats that go 7 knots, basically, which for any of you in the boating world is quite slow. It's a different pace of life on the water. Like, we're not doing Floridian boating here, folks. We are like slow boating. And she said, well, I think we've done enough for today. We're going to wind the clock. And I was like, what? We're here to learn. I've got 48 hours. I've got my husband at home with my kids. I'm going to learn how to totally captain this boat, and we're going to figure this out. And she's like, no, we've done enough for today. We're going to wind the clock. And she pulled out a bottle of wine and some crackers and cheese, and we charcuteried, and it was great. And I just remember thinking, like, in that moment, and then we started talking about all these boating terms, and we got into stories and the learning that happened around that. It is so important that as the principal, you wind the clock. This is why we're going to take a beat in Dallas, and we're going to wind the clock too. Because even when I sit with you, Michelle, it's a clock winding moment for me because it's somebody else in my space, seeing what I see,
Yes.
hearing what I hear, doing what I do. And it can feel so lonely out there by yourself. You need a moment to wind the clock with others. They were in the same position, and also to get out of this operator mindset. Because like you said earlier, I could be 3 weeks in the weeds and I'm still grinding away over it. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Right? It's so easy to default to that. So how do we pull out of that to wind the clock, to have the self-reflective moment to say, this is where I want to take my business with intentionality.
I think that's a great way to wrap up this episode.
Love you, lady. I love you. This is going to be fun. We need to hear from our people, and I want to know. Or if you guys think this is a horrible idea, tell us it's a horrible idea. We've been doing this a while. We're going to be fine with
DM that. Don't put that facing publicly. You're an idiot. This is a stupid idea. Please do not put that on my Spotify podcast.
No one's going to do that. We adore you, Michelle. We adore you.
Right back at you, Katie. Big smooches. This is so much fun.
Samesies.
So we are going to be doing the art of the principal. Like, keep your eyes open for that. We're going to be doing more podcasts. We're going to have this event in August 24th in Dallas, Texas. We're looking to bring it on the road in High Point and possibly a full retreat. So there's some momentum that we're building here.
Maybe we should call it Summit. Maybe we should do a summit. Retreat always feels like is like you're backing off and not doing anything. Is that just me?
Interesting? Because I used to do a summit and people were like, no, it needs to be more like a retreat.
Maybe we need to retreat.
So,
maybe that's back to winding the clock. See, let us know. What do you think? Summit or retreat? Let us know. We want to hear from you. I know I have mixed feelings about both terms. I'm like, are we having a bad case of overachieveritis if we summit? And then I'm like, oh, but if we retreat, are we doing self-care and winding our clock? I don't know.
I think you can do both. Maybe that's our next episode.
Maybe we're retreating to our summit. Okay, we're done here.
Thanks for listening, y'all. Please reach out to us. Please join us in August. And thanks for being here, Katie. Thanks for being here, Michelle. This is so much fun to do it together.
It's fun to do it together. I enjoy these episodes. Yes. And as we always say, remember, your business should be working for you, not you working for it.
Well, that's a wrap on today's episode. And I just want to say thank you for spending this time with me. I don't take it lightly that you chose to show up and listen. And I hope you're walking away with something you can actually use this week. If you want to keep going, come find me. The Design Bakehouse is where designers learn to build a business that's as beautiful as the spaces they create. Real coaching, real results. And if your operations need some attention and your sales and marketing, Sidemark was built specifically for that. Two different places depending on where you are right now, but both designed with you in mind. You can find the links in the show notes. Oh, and one small ask. If this episode meant something to you, leave a review. It takes 2 minutes and it helps other designers find their way here. I appreciate it more than you know. I'll see you next week.